Welcome to Silicon Scoop, where we dive into the latest tech news impacting the world. Join John Irwin and the Startup Coach as they explore the tech news that matters to you. Stay ahead, stay informed, and now on with the show.
Data centers are buying GPUs by the warehouse, but all the silicon is useless if the machines cannot agree on what time it is. A Montreal startup just raised $55 million to replace century-old quartz timing with microscopic silicon clocks built for the AI era. So Stathera closed an oversubscribed $55 million Series B, bringing its total funding to US $75 million. The company will mass produce its Gen 2 silicon timing products and develop Gen 3 components for AI data centers with initial customer samples targeted for 2028. So Canada's building the new AI clock, and the AI infrastructure is becoming a coordination problem, not merely a GPU counting contest. Better timing could make networking, optical links, and distributed computing more stable as clusters grow to tens of thousands of processors. What do you think about this, John?
Yeah, I love this. I love that this is a Canadian company taking a different approach than trying to compete with NVIDIA, because they're not competing with NVIDIA, they're enabling NVIDIA. And so many people assume that every semiconductor startup wants to build GPUs. And so Stathera, I think, is pursuing a different part of the semiconductor stack, like you said. So its products are MEMS timing devices, which I think we've covered in the past. We've covered so much. It provides an ultra-precise clock signal that synchronizes digital electronics. So think of it like an orchestra. Without a conductor, every musician would slowly drift apart. And computers have the same problem. Every computer has, what did they have? A crystal in it before? I don't know if they still do, but a clock. So every processor operates according to a clock. So if the clock drifts, even by incredibly small amounts, then you get performance degradations, your errors increase, and communication between chips become unreliable. And so modern AI clusters, they contain GPUs, CPUs, modern ASICs, memory controllers, optical interconnects, and every one of these components depends on precise timing. So as AI clusters scale to tens of thousands of accelerators, maintaining that synchronization is going to become increasingly difficult and increasingly valuable. So I guess people are asking, if you don't follow us, what is MEMS timing? So it's micro electrical mechanical systems. And so MEMS combines microscopic mechanical structures with semiconductor electronics. So traditional timing devices, they often rely on quartz crystals. That's right. Yeah. So quartz oscillators are extremely accurate, but they have limitations. They're larger in size. They have a greater sensitivity to shock, packaging complexities, and manufacturing constraints. Whereas MEMS resonators are fabricated using semiconductor manufacturing techniques. And so they have a smaller footprint, they have a better integration, they have higher robustness, they have lower power consumption, and they're easier for mass manufacturing. So I think this is a smart move. What are your thoughts on this? On this company and on the investment and on the technology?
I think it's really interesting. You know, there's always a race for better timers, as we know, and we've talked about the different types of atomic clocks and whatnot. And as we get into these clusters and AI and global networks, it's more and more important. And the Gen 3 platform is where the AI data center story really begins. The next generation is being architected from the ground up for AI workloads, enterprise communications, and hyperscale data center applications. Initial customer sampling for this platform is targeted around 2028. So basically, when you build something like Colossus with 100,000 GPUs, you need systems like this that can control who can talk when and like in what order things are happening. Otherwise, things are going to get messed up. And as we build more and more of these data centers, we really need it. I think this is great. I think we've got a lot of very interesting lead investors here. BDC Capital, Celesta Capital, Media Tech Innovation Fund, TXC Corporation, Ultratech Capital Partners, Seiko Epson. The question is, I didn't see what the competition is like. I like that this is Canada. I like what we're doing, but what competition is out there? And are we poised to take this market, or are we just another player?
Yeah. What I liked, I don't know if you caught this in the article when you were reading it, but you have it there. His decision to stay in Canada. I love that.
Yeah, the founder, George Zaras, has received direct offers to relocate his company to the United States and has turned them down. This is not a trivial thing. Canada's a well-documented pattern of commentators sometimes calling branch plant problem in tech. Promising startups get acquired by American firms or the founders themselves move to the US because that is where the capital is. The customers and the talent concentration exists. So it's not a moral failure, it's a rational economic decision. He describes building a chip company in Canada as more painful than doing in the US. He has been direct about the structural challenges. Securing later stage funding is harder. Recruiting executive talent and semiconductor experience is harder. And the proximity to major customers requires deliberate effort rather than being a natural side effect of geography. So, it's great to see Canadians staying in Canada and keeping the tech and whatnot here.
And so just because he's in Canada doesn't mean everything's happening in Canada, right? So they're taking an interesting manufacturing approach. So the MEMS component is manufactured in Canada. There's other electronic components that are sourced internationally. Assembly and packaging is performed primarily in Asia, and sales are focused on Silicon Valley, obviously. So I think his approach is a smart approach. If he wants to stay in Canada, that's probably one of the best ways to do it, is not have everything happening in Canada, do it where it makes the most sense.
And I mentioned we didn't have much on the competitors, but we do have one on SysTime, which is the current market leader in silicon MEMS timing. It's a publicly traded California-based company. Has spent over a decade establishing itself as a go-to alternative for quantum oscillators and precision timing. So they're taking them on head on, saying they're better. So we'll have to watch this carefully and see what's happening.
Yeah. And the other thing that I learned while doing some research is that Canada is quietly becoming an AI superconductor hub. So we've got Photonic, which does quantum computing. We've got Thales, which does AI processors. We've got Torrent, which does AI chips. And we have Spark Microsystems, which does ultra low power wireless chips. So I didn't know that, even though we're in tech. Jesus, I can't believe I missed all that. That is awesome.
There's a lot more chip manufacturers, or maybe not manufacturers because they all use the same foundations that build the chips. But the people like Grok, Grok,
yeah.
Q, I mean. No, Q, yeah. The Canadian AI chip manufacturer. There's a bunch out there, and when we were doing blockchain stuff a few years back, there was a bunch of different chip manufacturers that were building ASICs with the blockchain algorithm and the different algorithms right on the chip to do. So there's a lot of interesting chip stuff happening in Canada when you start looking into it. Yeah. So we'll have to see where this goes. So Stathera has not fixed AI data centers yet, but has raised serious money to rebuild one of the smallest and most fundamental components. If Canada develops the technology, but most of the investment and customers remain elsewhere, is the Canadian semiconductor sovereignty or just Canadian R&D feeding a global supply chain? Let us know what your thoughts are and below and whether you're going to check them out. We'd love to hear from you.
Tired of drowning in repetitive tasks while your competitors race ahead? Every minute you spend on manual data entry, scheduling, and routine processes is a minute you're not growing your business. Flowgrammer.ca transforms your workflow chaos into seamless automation. We build AI-powered systems that handle your busy work so you can focus on what actually makes you money. Our clients typically save 15 plus hours per week and see their productivity double within 60 days. Visit flowgrammer.ca for a free automation audit. That's flowgrammer.ca. Stop working in your business and start working on it.
So, John, I understand that you help people with non-dilutive funding. What does that mean? What kind of people do you help? Where do they go to find that information?
Yeah, for sure. And so non-dilutive funding is funding that you receive where you don't have to give up shares or equity in the company. Typically, it comes from government or it can come from organizations. I specialize in government and organizations as far as helping you secure the funds. There's a whole bunch of different programs. If you're a startup with just an idea, there's really not anything out there for you. You need a couple years under your belt as far as incorporated in Canada. But if you have questions, you can reach out to me. Either find me on shredit.ca, SREDIT.ca, or what's better is find me on LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn, John Irwin. But for automations, workflows, a whole bunch of other stuff, where do they go to talk to you, and what can you help them with, Craig?
Well, I help businesses grow and automate over at flowgrammer.ca, and specifically we do human-centric AI-first technology that enhances the human experience for people, not take away from it. So if you want to know what we do, go over to flowgrammer.ca, but we do all sorts of stuff where we do cafe events, AI builders. If you're in the Toronto area and you want to spend a half a day or a full day working with other AI builders, check out flowgrammer.ca. We run events in Toronto first Friday of every month. We also run startup investor drinks from our TorontoStarts brand, where we run get investors and startups in the room. It's open bar, open pitch, and it's intimate, usually 50, 60 people in a small room with a high ratio of investors to startups, and it's a good time for everybody. I'm also entrepreneur residence at a couple co-working spaces in Toronto, and I'm the startup coach. So if you want to head over to TorontoStarts.com, if you're struggling or just want to talk to somebody about direction for your startup, give me a shout, book a meeting, a discovery call, whatever, and we'll spend 15 minutes and see how we can help and work together. We'd love to hear from you. Other than that, John, anything going on?
No, you've got Elevate coming up. We've got a few events with you, and that's about it. I know you have tons of events, don't you?
Yeah, there's lots of stuff coming on. Yeah, I talked about them, so go check out TorontoStarts.com or flowgrammer.ca. They're all listed there. On all our sites, we have all our events now. I built some widgets to make sure it propagates, so you'll see them everywhere. Other than that, thanks for listening or watching, everyone. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to Silicon Scoop. We hope you enjoyed this episode's dive into the latest tech news. Stay connected with John Irwin and the Startup Coach on LinkedIn, and subscribe for more insights and updates. Until next time, stay ahead, stay informed.